Did you move to Fredericton, New Brunswick? I moved here from Japan in 2008, and honestly, at the first, I thought Fredericton felt way too small. Not many shops, not much to do with the kids, and very quiet. But now, I'm so glad my family made the move. So, in this video, I want to tell you the honest truth about living in Fredericton. What was hard for me, what surprised me, and why I still think moving here was one of the biggest decisions I made for my family. Hi, I am Coco Kenny. I am a real estate agent in Fredericton, New Brunswick, helping relocation buyers, local buyers, and the sellers. But in this video, I'm not talking to you like a real estate agent. I just want to talk to you as someone who moved here from another country, had to adjust, and slowly learned what kind of life Fredericton really offers. Because if you're thinking about moving here, I think the most helpful thing is not just hearing facts. It's hearing what it actually feels like. When I first moved here, Fredericton felt very small. When I came from Japan in 2008, Fredericton felt small right away. Really small. I noticed it fast. Not many shops. Not a lot of places to go with the kids. Not much of that busy city feels I was used to. And when you moved from a completely different place, you notice these things a lot. You compare everything. You think, where do people go? What do families do here? Is this too quiet? Did I make the right choice? So if you are thinking about moving to Fredericton and a part of you is wondering whether life here will feel too small or too quiet, I understand that because I felt that too. And I think this is important to say because sometimes people move and feel that at the first, then they think something is wrong with them. Nothing is wrong with you. Sometimes it just takes time to understand the place. Fredericton is not the kind of place that tries to impress you right away. It grows on you slowly, kind of like a person who is quiet at the first, but later becomes one of your favorite people. What I realized later, after living here for some time, I started to notice something I did not really see in the beginning. There is so much space here. Space for kids to play, space to breathe, space to slow down, space to just live your life without feeling crowded all the time. And that became really important to me. At first, I mostly saw what Fredericton did not have. Later, I started to see what it did have. And what I had was something I needed more than I realized. A slower life, a calmer life, a life with more room. That was a big change for me because when I come from a place with more people, more shops, more movement, and more noise, quiet can feel strange at the first, but later, quiet can feel really nice. Nature here is one of the biggest parts. One of the things I really love about Fredericton is the nature. It is beautiful here. In the summer, there is so much green everywhere. You can just go for a walk and enjoy it. You don't always need a big plan. You don't need to spend money every time you want to do something. Sometimes just walking outside is enough. And in the fall, the leaves changing color are amazing. That's one of the things that I really came to appreciate. Because yes, maybe Fredericton does not have endless shopping or non-stop events. It has seasons you can really feel. Well, maybe a little too much season sometimes, especially winter. But I'll get back to that. For families, I think this matters a lot. Kids do not always need a big entertainment. Sometimes they just need room to move, run, explore, and be outside. Fredericton has that. Traffic is almost nothing. Another thing that changed my daily life. Here is a traffic, honestly. Traffic in Fredericton is close to none compared to many bigger places. Of course, yes, we still have traffic sometimes. Morning rush, after work, accident, road repair, winter road conditions. So I'm not saying there is never traffic, but overall, very manageable. Sometimes people here say traffic was terrible today, and I'm thinking, really? That was terrible? That part always makes me smile a little because compared to a big cities, driving here is so much easier. And that changes life more than people think. When you are not spending so much time sitting in traffic, you get time back. More time with the family, more time with a friend, more time to rest, more time to actually enjoy your day. And for me, that has been one of the nicest things about living here. I feel like I can be myself here. This part is harder to explain, but it is very real for me. I feel like I can be myself here. Life feels slower in Fredericton, and because life is slower, I feel like I have more time with my family and friends. And I also feel like I can be more kind. That may sound simple, but I think it matters a lot. When life feels rushed all the time, when everything feels crowded and busy and stressful, it affects people. It affects how you feel. It affects how patient you are. It affects how much of yourself you have left at the end of the day. Here, I feel softer, more present, more like myself. And that has been one of the biggest gifts of moving here. So when I talk about Fredericton, I'm not just talking about houses or neighbors. I'm talking about how life feels. Because in the end, that is what people are really choosing when they move. Not just home, a life. But let me be honest, winter is long. Now I have to tell you the hard part. Winter is long, very long. And for me personally, the hardest month is March. Not January, not February, March. Because in January and February, okay, it is winter, you know it, you accepted it, you wear the boots, you do what you have to do. But March is different. March plays with your feelings. Spring feels almost there, but not really. You started to feel hopeful. Maybe winter is ending. Maybe we're done. And then Fredericton says, no, one more snowstorm. Sometimes the snow doesn't stay, but everything starts melting. The roads get messy, wet, dirty, slushy. It can still feel dark. And you are just tired by then. That is why for me, March just harder than January or February. Because it feels like spring almost there, but not just there yet. If you're thinking about moving to Fredericton, I really think people should know that winter here is real. And the late winter feelings can be hard. It does not mean don't move here. It just means be honest with yourself about weather and what kind of climate affects you. Because if you hate long winters with your whole heart and soul, we should probably talk honestly about that. Fredericton is a small community, Another honest thing I want to say is that Fredericton is a smaller community. And because it's smaller, sometimes it takes time for people to accept people from other places. That can happen if you move here from another province, and it can happen if you move here from another country too. Not always in a rude way, not always directly, but sometimes you feel that it takes time to build relationships, time to feel like you belong, time to settle in. I think that is real. But I also think that this has been changing. After COVID, New Brunswick started getting more people from outside the province and from abroad. So Fredericton is becoming more mixed than before. And I think that is a good thing. There are more newcomers now, more different backgrounds, more people building a life here from somewhere else. So I do think it is getting easier than it used to be, but still I think it helps to know that settling in can take time. Why moving here was such a good decision for my family, even with the hard parts. I still believe moving here from Japan in 2008 was one of the biggest decisions I made for my family. I really believe that. I don't think my son would be the same person now if he had grown up in Japan. Life here gave us something different, a different pace, more space, more time with the family, a life that feels less rushed. And I feel like kids can be kids in New Brunswick. There is room here for that kind of life. That means a lot to me. Because when I think about whether moving here was the right decision, I do not think first about the shops or convenience. I think about the life we built, how we felt, what kind of environment my family grew in. And when I look at it that way, I feel very thankful. At the first, Fredericton felt too small. Later, I realized that what I felt small at first was also what gave us something bigger. Peace, time, space, family life. And that is why I am so happy we made the move. So, who is Fredericton good for? In my opinion, Fredericton can be a really good fit if you want more space, more nature, less traffic, a slower pace, more family time, and a quieter everyday life. It can be great for families, great for relocation buyers, great for people who are tired of big city stress, great for people who want a calmer life, and especially for people who do not need non-stop action all the time. If your dream life is not about rushing, but about breathing a little easier, Fredericton may be a really good fit. And who may not love it? Let's be fair, Fredericton is not for everyone. You may struggle here if you really want big city, shopping, non-stop events, a lot of nightlife, constant energy, or short winters. If you need a city that always feels exciting and busy, Fredericton may feel too quiet. And that is okay. There is nothing wrong with that. The goal is not to convenience everyone to move here. The goal is to help the right people understand if this place matches the life they want. That is a real question. Not, is Fredericton good? But, is Fredericton good for me? My honest answer. So, should you move to Fredericton, New Brunswick? My honest answer is this. Yes! If you want the slower, calmer, more family-focused life and you are okay with the trade-offs. At the first, it may feel smaller than you expected. You may wonder if there is enough here. You may even feel unsure in the beginning. But if you give it time, you may start to see what makes this place special. The nature, the space, the quiet, the family time, the easier everyday life. That is what happened to me. And that is when even now I'm still so happy I made the move. If you're thinking about the moving to Fredericton and you want honest help from someone who has actually been through a big move, I would be happy to help. I'm Coco Kenny, a real estate agent in Fredericton, New Brunswick, helping relocation buyers, local buyers, and the sellers. And if this video helped you, subscribe to my channel. I share honest videos about moving to Fredericton, living in New Brunswick, and what you should know before making a big move.